How you doing? I'm Rebel, welcome back to 7 Days. Today, we're diving into some serious base building. I have to get this place set up for the next Horde Night. While I'm working on the build, I've got a thought about the origins of the Navsgain virus, one that just might change the way you see the game, but we'll get into that later. And if there's time, I might just tackle a mission or two from the traders. Let's jump in. Alright, here we are, day 36, 11 p.m. We've already got our first customer of the day coming up to us. Where are you at? Hey. Leave my base alone. Man, we gotta get out of this location. I think the zombies are starting to pinpoint where we're at. Alright, so let's gather up some resources, head over to the new base. Get out of here. Well, I'm out here building up the base and getting it ready for the next Horde Night. I wanted to share something. What if I told you the Navsgain virus didn't just spread by chance? What if there's a deeper, darker story behind it all? Stick with me and I'll share a theory that just might change the way you see Navsgain. Right now as it sits, the world is just zombies running wild. There's no real rhyme or reason to them. Some houses have 2 zombies in them and some have 50. If they were family-sized groups, I'd understand. But to me, it feels like there's a hidden backstory somewhere. And this theory probably won't blow your mind. I'm even fairly sure it's probably already been thought up before, or maybe even common knowledge at this point. But I might have worked out how all the traders are involved. Now this is just a theory, it's a way of piecing together the clues that we've been given. And I could be completely wrong, but this is how I think it all went down. Let's rewind to Navsgain before the chaos. It was a place like any other, where people lived their lives without a care, going to work, school, the park, concerts, the usual. And the change didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, subtle progression. The world wasn't ready, and even before the infection hit, you could see the cracks forming. But the signs of something darker were in place, if you knew where to look. It probably started with the farmers noticing strange behaviors in their animals. Cows refusing to eat, chickens attacking each other, entire droves of pigs wandering off into the wilderness. At the same time, in the towns, local clinics were seeing an uptick in patients complaining of exhaustion, irritability, and unexplained mood swings. Then came the food shortages, which caused even more growing panic. This was stage 1 of the infection. Subtle, slow, easy to miss. Then came stage 2. People were acting even more off. A woman in Dyersville was on the news found digging in her backyard with her bare hands, muttering about hiding a treasure. A man in Parishton was arrested after biting a diner waitress, claiming he felt hungry but just couldn't eat. People weren't just getting sick, they were changing. Their behavior became erratic, violent, and then the real nightmare started. Hospitals began filling up, no one could agree on what was causing the symptoms. And then stage 3 came, when everything fell apart. A constant panic filled every citizen. The government spread lies trying to hold on to order. People who had disappeared started to return as something else. They weren't human anymore. They were faster, stronger, more aggressive than ever. Their primal human instinct to destroy took over. The infection had taken hold, and it was too late for humanity. Now here's where the story takes a turn. Why every 7 days is there a massive uptick in aggression? Why do the infected suddenly go berserk in massive hordes, attacking relentlessly? Is it just the blood moon? I doubt it. I think the infection isn't a virus at all. It's more like a parasite, following its own biological rhythms. I know it sounds cliche, but I think the virus itself is alive. Every 7 days it reaches a peak, forcing the infected into a frenzy to spread itself further. It's like clockwork, as if the infection was designed that way. The rhythm gives the apocalypse a strange, terrifying predictability. But here's the thing that always bugged me. If the world was falling apart, where did the traders come from? And how did they escape it? It took me a while, but I think I might have finally pieced it all together. I was running around looting, ransacking houses when I kept running into the same product line in every location. Sham chowder this, Shamway foods that. It was in almost every cupboard. What if Shamway Foods is behind it all? Typically, with any national emergency, there's shortages, and even grocery store recalls. It probably started with the meats, which would explain why there's so much rotting meat in the houses. Then, little by little, things just started to disappear with no sign of returning, even down to the candy. At first it was the nerd tats, but then the atom junkies, skull crushers, and rockbusters soon started to vanish from the shelves. Shamway Foods began pulling all of their products, and once the candies disappeared, it was their famous sham chowder, then canned goods, and frozen meals. The reasons they gave were probably super vague too. Quality concerns or packaging errors. I'm sure some products stayed on the shelves, but not many. Nobody thought much of it at the time. After all, food recalls happen, right? What if each of the traders had a key role in working at Shamway and letting the infection loose? Is it possible that this was planned? Or was this just an innocent error that occurred? I think that Rekt could have been the head of procurement and ingredients. Rekt would have been responsible for sourcing and purchasing raw materials. He'd ensure Shamway had a steady supply of everything needed for their products: meats, vegetables, grains, preservatives, all of it. His knowledge of food ingredients would make him invaluable to the company. And seeing how his specialty is foods, it makes sense. A single corner cut buying cheaper ingredients to boost profit margins? Could that be the cause of all this? And that's probably why he's got such a bad attitude. The profit he made buying tainted ingredients was worthless once the currency fell. He would have lost everything to the zombies. His wife, kids, farm, everything. For nothing. Jen was probably the head of health and safety. She would have been in charge of all the company's health protocols, ensuring that food safety standards were met and overseeing the medical supplies division. This department would have handled employee health, public health notices, and any medical supplies needed for crisis, especially after foodborne illnesses or industrial accidents. In Navsgain, her specialty is medical supplies. She even refers to herself as Dr. Jen sometimes. Could it all be her fault? Maybe that's why she's so flirtatious with everybody. Maybe she's just trying to throw you off her scent, that she's the real reason this all started. One overlooked product, and boom, zombie virus. I imagine that Bob was the head of logistics and operations. He would have overseen the transportation, storage, and distribution of Shamway goods. His role involved managing warehouses, delivery fleets, and making sure that products reached the right places on time. Bob's focus is on vehicles, so if anything went wrong in the chain, he was the one that could fix the delivery process. While it is possible that Bob's involvement was unintentional, what if he's the reason this spread so rapidly and to such far reaches? Or maybe Bob had nothing to lose before the apocalypse and that he's actually happy that this happened, because now people have to go and see him. That could explain his positive attitude. Maybe he feels guilty for innocently sending the tainted products across Navsgain. Hugh would have been the head of the Shamway security department, tasked with ensuring the safety of the company assets. After the outbreak, the buildings were probably flooded with news reporters. Being the head of security, he most likely had access to weapons. Is it luck that that's just his specialty? After the outbreak, his department likely shifted to handling more aggressive forms of security, focusing on defensive tactics and maintaining order during the chaos. Hugh probably did some pretty nasty things to healthy civilians that were just looking for answers. Joel would have been responsible for investing in ways to make working there safer for the employees, head of R&D. Shamway, being a large-scale food production company, had many employees working with heavy machinery, hazardous materials, and dangerous processes in their factories and warehouses. As a result, a strong focus of personal protective equipment would have been necessary. Joel would have overseen the development and distribution of protective gear for Shamway employees. This could include protective clothing for factory workers exposed to dangerous machines or chemicals, body armor for high-risk personnel like security teams or executives in unsafe zones, environmental protection gear like hazmat suits designed to shield against contamination or hazardous conditions, like the hazmat suits we see wandering around Navsgain. Since he specialized in designing armor to withstand impacts, cuts, burns, and other threats, he can now apply those skills to create armor to withstand zombie attacks. Or maybe the outbreak started from a faulty hazmat suit that he designed. Then there's the mysterious Duke. I can't quite place Duke's role in all of this. Maybe he was the president of the company, or maybe he was the custodian. Either way, he had to have some involvement. There's too many coincidences. For all I know, he might not have even worked for Shamway, but he has to be somebody in power, or maybe he just had a lot of muscle. Who knows? From what I can tell, by the way the other traders talk about him, he's the man pulling the strings, issuing currency and somehow maintaining control in a world overrun by chaos. He's got to be the mastermind behind it all, the one who decided to weaponize the infection for his own gain. Or is he just another survivor that climbed to the top, trying to survive? The traders and the Duke seem to be too organized for this to be just a coincidence. Their presence raises more questions than answers, and I can't help but think they're all tied to the outbreak somehow. The more I think about it, it all just circles back to Shamway Foods. Their products were everywhere, in homes, schools, military rations. They dominated the market, cutting costs and corners to maintain their empire. I think it was just one bad batch, or maybe even just one bad sham sandwich that triggered the apocalypse. Something in their processes went horribly wrong, and by the time they realized it, the infection had spread to every corner of Navsgain. And here's the kicker. I think they knew. The lockdown Shamway factories, the abandoned offices, and the hastily scrawled warnings, those weren't confusion. That was signs of guilt. They tried to cover it up, but it was too late. So that's my theory. The zombie apocalypse didn't start with an experiment gone wrong, or some governmental virus leak, or some ancient curse. It started with something ordinary, something so small, so trusted that nobody saw coming. A contaminated sham sandwich, sold by a company too greedy to care. That's all it took, one contaminated product, and suddenly, the apocalypse began. It was right there, in the food everybody was eating. The traders weren't helping people survive, they were covering up their involvement. They tried to hide it, tried to play it off as just a random outbreak, but the truth was far worse. Rekt and the others, they're all part of it. They knew something we didn't. In those Horde Nights, the infection's way of making sure it keeps spreading, driven by an instinct we still don't fully understand, it's crazy. Something as simple as a sham sandwich could bring the world to its knees. And that's why we're here, in a world where the apocalypse didn't start with a bang. Just one bad meal. One sham sandwich. That's what kicked everything off. But I think that the real enemy might not be the undead at all. It might just be the people who helped start it. But hey, that's my take. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you've got your own theory. Alright, that's about all the building I can muster up for the day. I got a lot of upgrades, a lot of repairs. We got a lot of stuff done. We got the beginning of our electronics built up with our spinning blade trap and our electric fence posts. It's looking pretty good. Coming in to see Rekt. Why did I bring my nail gun with me? Hey, jerkface!
Smells like dysentery.
Yeah, that's your teeth. You should brush them. Let's do a clear the zombies.
I got some work for a like you.
I'm sure you do. You did a great job at the last clearing, but this one may be a bit tougher. I'm sure you can handle it. Go wipe out the zombies at the Happy Sleep Motel. We need to get over to the desert to do some oil shale mining. We need some sand, too, so it'll be killing two birds with one stone. We're running low on concrete. Looks like the outside of the building's pretty secure. I don't see anything too crazy out here. The chicken off in the distance. Yeah. You guys are gonna bug me, aren't you? Hey, some gas. Just what I needed. Come on. Leave me alone. Arlene, go away. Hey, I said go away. I see you. Go away. Alright, let's start it up. Let's get these magazines again. Redo the cars. Get out of here. Here, birdie. Oh! Wasn't ready for you, sir. You jump scared me. Got the solution to that, though. Sir. Construction worker, janitor, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Sir, I didn't see you there. There you go. Who's beating on the walls down here? Hi, get out of here. I see you better with my lights off, nurse. Darn it. How you doing? No, thank you. I'm all good on hot dogs today. I don't have time for you. Knew you were gonna pop out of there. Go away. Crawling around on the ground. Alright, how many more zombies are there? What am I missing? Where's the loot room? How you doing? Having a little party? No friends? No extra guests? Boring party. Mr. Biker, how you doing, sir? Sir, not part of the mission, sir. Taking a little nap. That snowball just bounced. Go away. See ya. Thank you. Too noisy. There we go. Just looking for you guys. Come on, monkey man. Let's do this. Sir. It actually sounds like they're behind me. And through the walls. They're just everywhere. Hey! How you doing, Mr. Janitor? Thank you for keeping the place clean. I know as soon as I drop down there, it's gonna be mayhem. I can hear them all. I don't think I have a choice, though. You're not even part of the mission. You're just a random wandering horde. Hey, wall safe. Good thing I brought my key. Son of... Come on. You got nothing on me. Where you at? Let's go. Boat. Finally, there's the mission done. Now, let's get this loot. Alright, I think that's everything. Let's get on our bike, head back to Rekt, return this mission, see what he gives us. Home sweet home. Hey, jerkface, I'm back.
You think you're pretty smart now, don't you?
Now,
Here's your pay, Einstein.
all this stuff sucks, Rekt.
Selling to even a dummy like all that gawking at goods and
That's all you buy? Alright, well that's gonna wrap it up for today. We made some solid progress on the Horde base. There's still a lot of work to do, but we're in much better shape now. Plus, we knocked out a mission for Rekt and got some good loot, so I guess that's a win. In the next episode, we're gonna go to the desert to grab some sand for concrete and oil shale for gas. We're also gonna swing by Bob and check out his inventory while we're there. Thanks for watching, and you know the rest of the deal. Like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace, I'm out of here.